Semi-finals, everybody! HeroesHype Premier Series, and we have nothing left going up against Vikings Fabriken. Okay, so we are on Volskaya Foundry, our first map. There's obviously a little bit to talk about the two teams here, but let's introduce our players first. On the blue side, to the left, we have Podibos on Blaze, Mopsio on Diablo, Nick on Hanzo, Blikitne on Junkrat, and Linked on Tyrande. And over to the right, we have Macke on Vala, Sportbeat on ETC, Berghult on Tyrael, Smexy on Malfurion, and Gia on Li Ming. So, if you guys paid attention, then you obviously know that there's like a couple of swaps in those teams that have already happened. And there's actually quite a little bit that is influenced by this. And it's mainly that Division S, this first season has ended. We've also seen the first season of the HeroesHype Premier Series end. So a lot of the teams have shuffled their rosters a little bit. There's some players that have actually stopped playing, others that joined the scene. And in this case, we have at least one pretty much new team with Vikings Fabriken, and we have even Smexy playing a little bit in here. He's obviously at this point the manager of Fnatic's Apex team, but still playing a bit of Heroes of the Storm. And, well, with other players also in the mix, we're having, for example, Berghult here on the Tyrael. At the same time, Sportbilly is joining for some fun. And I actually think they even had Schwimpy in their extended roster, so that he can at some point jump in again. Nothing Left has actually signed up under a different name now. It's pretty much a troll name that's just dedicated to make the caster having a really bad day. So it's called Jegosh and then something else I'm not even going to try and pronounce. It's pretty much the same thing when back in the days, and I think it was Beta, one of the Polish teams called themselves Shushurushu because they were hoping that the casters would butcher the name the entire time. Since I kind of want to make sure that the viewers are at least spared the continuous name change of the Polish team, I'm just going to call them Nothing Left until they A, change their roster significantly, or B, come up with a name that is not stupid. So, for the convenience of the audience, Nothing Left for our purpose here against Vikings Fabriken, which is actually a new name, and also a team that, actually team and also a new name. But yeah, so in this case, Volskaya Foundry kicks our best of 3 series off. We're starting into this as the first one. And, well, let's have a little bit of a look at which team takes it here. We have good players on each side, but the advantage for the blue team is obviously that they've been playing together with this lineup for a long, long time. One exception, though. Nick at this point, playing for them. And Mopsio has actually even said on Twitter that for the longest time, even in HGC, he wanted to play together with Nick at some point. And now he's able to pull that off. So Nick part of that bit of a roster shuffle that we had there after the season. And you might actually can tell that he's currently playing on the range damage dealer again. Especially when we had him in the last HeroesHype Premier Series play. He was on the front line and was actually playing tank. And a fantastic tank play at that. So it was actually really surprising to see how proficient he was in that role. But now he's back onto the damage, which he played in HGC as well. When it comes to the lineups here, we're still seeing that double frontline setup for the Vikings, with currently Vala as the main damage dealer, together with the resets that we could see them get with Li Ming. And on top of that, for the other side, there's the Diablo and Tyrande setup that can also be aided by another jet propulsion from Blaze when it comes down to locking a target into place and burst it away. But let's see which team is able to take the first victory in this best of 3. This is the semi-final, as said before. The winner is going to advance to the grand final of this particular tournament. We're going to have those in bi-weekly rhythms now once more. Nice lockdown attempt here against Mopsio. So far, not really too much happening. I mean, not really too many kills or anything that happened there lately. And, well, Podibos is trying to set a jet propulsion up. Gets immediately shut down by ETC. Nicely done here by him. So, yeah, pretty cool move by ETC, making sure that that jet propulsion never really connected. But when it comes to the position on the control point, then we're actually having a bit of an advantage now for the red team, because our Vikings have actually succeeded in getting level 7 a bit quicker, and that allows them to get the aggression in and try and capitalize on talent, and they actually can pull that off. There we go. First kill and reset for Li Ming as she takes down Junkrat, and Hanzo barely moving away now as well, as we finally have the blue team with level 7 too. An interesting start into the game here. Also, when we're talking about Diablo, then we actually see in this case the full focus again into the Firestomp here, to make him also quite sustainable with that setup. Let's see how far he actually goes with that build, and if you have adjustments in the later stages too. But for now we have the Echo Paddle on level 7 for ETC, very likely going to be played in an off-lane position at some point at least, once that we have level 10 abilities in there. Marker firing away from Bala. Mopsio is low and can keep himself alive thanks to his build for a bit longer. But, oh my god! Marker nearly getting the kill there, but the one thing that they definitely got was the first protector in the game. So yep, actually a really cool setup for them now. With the first one, already half a level lead, and that all comes from a single kill that they were able to get. So actually not too shabby. Now, as we say this, the traditional rotation would now lead them towards the top, but it seems like they're starting to become more aggressive in the middle of the map, creating also some space or attempting to do that for Blaze at the bottom of the map. So far, not quite successful. And top lane now attacked too, as Gia has actually pushed the lane out. So the protector rotates a little bit later as the minions are also starting to move in, and the rest of the team can now push in together with the two of them to break through the wall and maybe even start to put some pressure onto the fountain itself. Dibbles with the completed quest here on the baseline on the other hand, so he definitely can at least die once in the next team fight. But look at the discrepancy in experience. The level 10 ability for our Vikings here is going to be pretty impactful if they make a dive. They could at least take the item here with level 10. That shouldn't be a problem for them whatsoever. Might be able to get a little bit more out of it too, depending on how they play it. But right now, we'll see what especially Bergholt is going to pull off then later on. Here comes already the strafe. Would still expect the Sanctification. There's the item that already gets focused on as expected with a level 10 advantage. They are making sure that they have an item advantage on the map itself. And currently we're still waiting for ETC. And he goes Moshput. No stage dive. No, not trying to play an offlane game where they control the macro by having a global hero, but instead going full on for the Mosh to try and get people dancing. The party animal. The cow is again in action. Also, we're having now the Lightning Breath taken for Diablo. No Apocalypse, which could definitely be comboed off with the Hanzo Arrow if they wanted to go for it. Mopsio, yeah, immediately teleporting out of there saying like, no, you're not gonna get a wallstone against me. That is not happening. So down to the bottom of the map, Bergholt still sitting on his money pick, playing things safe since he doesn't have vision on everybody on the opponent's team. He's making sure that he's not getting attacked here by any means. It's a little bit of a slow game, to be honest with you. Both of the teams have not really forced too many fights yet. We've seen teams play around the Protector and also around the level 10 advantage. But we only have seen a single kill so far. We're 7 minutes in and we have seen only one kill since both of them are just playing this really slow, not risking anything just yet. But Sport Billy is now rotating topside to see if they can maybe get some damage onto Mopsio. But obviously with only 3 heroes in the mix, they don't want to go for it just yet. But here comes the reinforcements. Yep, Marke is moving in together with Bergholt. Is that, oh, the jet propulsion, the arrow! The mass stuns against the red team. Billy again creating some space as the lightning breath comes out. But even with the jet propulsion and Hanzo's arrow sacrificed in that situation, they couldn't get too much out of it. They could not get a kill. And Sanctification wasn't even used. That's not the only thing. The only thing that actually was used is Malfurion's heroic ability in Liming's, but that obviously is on such a short cooldown that it doesn't really figure into this now. And that's a great trade for the Vikings here, for the Vikings factory. So we'll actually see if they can hold on to the top now, because obviously the goal for Nothing Left would be to hit level 13 so that they can fight on even talents. So this is what the next fight is all going to be about. But already when you look at the quest talents, ETC in particular is just only 2 stacks away from hitting his quest reward, which is actually pretty significant in a team fight. I mean, again, you get some additional healing out of that, so one of the small power spikes you would definitely try and rely upon if you can. But the position has already been taken by the red team, as they have level 13 about to come up, with more talents or more items on the map. They are having Nothing Left, moving straight in for that. Level 13 is now ready for the red team, and still a pretty hesitant approach here from Nothing Left, as they are obviously not really willing to YOLO into this too hard at this point. So, mid lane, nearly level 13 for them, and let's see what they can pull off with this now. ETC, he's gonna have a tough time to really connect that mosh pit in those fights. There's just too many stuns on the other side that can interrupt that instantly. But here comes the lead again for the red team. And we have our little move up towards the top. Yep, there's the attack against ETC, and Sport Billy tries to get out. Junkrat actually is denying it, and then Diablo gets the kill together with Hanzo. Nicely done. ETC down. And that was a really cool start for them. I mean, again, he didn't lose the item, they actually dropped it, but now that we're seeing nothing left in the numbers, having the numbers advantage, they can push not only for the fountain, but even a little bit deeper onto the fort itself, and have now a chance to get themselves a healing beacon as they're moving straight in towards the position here. So again, quick kill, straight into a massive, massive lead, but ETC is going to be back, and this fight isn't over yet. We still have a lot of items, though, for the blue team. They're holding on to 3 turrets and a healing beacon. And that's something that, well, the team in red cannot necessarily contest with. So they have to be very, very careful as they are now approaching the top again. Double money pick lets them right into battle with style. ETC is already sitting there, trying to do his thing and trying to see if he can maybe also capitalize on that mosh pit finally. So far that hasn't been the case. But Diablo with a wall stun, talking stuns, jet propulsion is in. And Li Ming connects the damage. There's the healing beacon on the ground. Marke gets stunned though and waltz away. Just as he comes out of that stun frame, Mopsio himself with a bit more aggression. Podibos another jet propulsion attempt, but the position has now shifted. Arrow completely missed as Hanzo does not connect with the target. And now we're seeing the red team take over again. They already won the first one. They're aiming for the second protector now. And it seems like they might be able to pull this off unless the blue team is initiating another battle and gets a kill here. In comes the Riptire as they're trying to make the play. Mosh Pit, Interrupt is there, Lightning Breath, and the Sanctification already used to. Billy a little bit low, so is Marke by the way. Billy is more so in trouble, tries to escape here, and looks like he might get away, but Hanzo is already on him and is retreating towards the top. Protector has been claimed by nothing left as they are moving in, trying to get the kill against Backhold, and he jumps out. It's a close call regardless though, but all of the players are getting out. We're 11 minutes in and we've only seen 2 kills, which is a little bit insane considering the map that we're playing here. But the fort has been eliminated too, and the lead in experience goes now 2-0 left as we're having everybody starting to move down to the bottom of the map. Yep, attack after attack is coming in. And with that, we're also having the quick rotation down to the bottom of the map to see if they can prepare objective number 3 by taking down the fountain. A lead in experience in an earlier level 16 might even allow them to push this a little bit farther. See if they can pull that off. Vala is still holding the top and ETC the middle, so you can already tell that Vikinger Fabriken is trying to get even in experience, but that also means that they don't have enough heroes to really protect the bottom of the map, and that's where the fountain and the fort will both be destroyed. Now Vala is trying to counterplay that as much as she can, and Marke is aiming to at least destroy some structures topside, but there's already retreat pings being spammed since his team is signaling, dude, listen, you're gonna have a problem here. And, well, Marke not retreating properly, but trying to hide here is a huge problem right now, because at this point, he's just getting chased down by Blaze. And that's not the only hero Nick comes into, and that should be the end of Vala. Marke is gonna fall. Retreated a little bit too late, team spammed retreat, but at that point it was already down the drain. Marke felt that he needed to try and sneakily Hearthstone out instead of just walk away there, and that ends with a kill against him. 16 versus 16 right now in Talons, which gives us also Manticore for Vala, so focusing more heavily onto the auto attacks instead of going into the Frost Shot, which oftentimes gives you more fight control. Mirror Ball also claimed. And again, item control for nothing left as they're starting to move in against the point right here. And burning down the little mech to get another healing beacon. So it is still a slight advantage that we're seeing for nothing left, but it's all coming down to that bottom map position, and with the fort at the fountain still ready for nothing left, chances are that they will enter that battle with a big advantage over their opponent. I mean, right now, the red team, our Swedes, they are trying to hold on and look for a fight that they can finally take and win. But it's really the item control that's probably the biggest worry on their end, since Link is sitting on that healing beacon. And they're getting now another turret after we already have one on Mopsio. Whereas the team in red doesn't really have an item to their name. So it's 3 items against 0 at this point, and that has to be a concern for the Swedes. Has to be a really, really big one. So with this said, we're having now once again the move in the middle as the rotations are in. I would also expect that eventually there's going to be a play for this turret too. It's going to take another minute for it to spawn, but eventually we should see an attempt by the Vikings to actually get this one. In terms of damage output, another setup that we can have a quick look at. We have Vala currently on 40,000 damage, so looking actually quite strong. Nearly tying the damage with Hanzo, who thanks to his poke damage is obviously always pretty amazing. We're having down to the bottom of the map, Boss just sitting here. Berghult and him are locked into that one-on-one again on the off lane. But there's also still Diablo as he's trying to go for the camp and attempting to time this properly with the opponent. And what else do we have here? A little bit of a shark around in the middle. Blake Kidney on... oh, Billy! The attempt to get the power slide in and then the mosh pit interrupted. Hanzo's arrow connects. Here comes the Junkrat Riptire. No kill yet. Might they finally get one here? Sanctification on the ground allows them to stay a bit longer. So does the bunker for nothing left. But as both of the teams are moving away again, the first thing that we're actually seeing is both of them with pretty much all of their ults used, few exceptions, and not a single kill just yet. Again, it hasn't really been a kill-heavy game. There's a lot of small advantages that the teams got and then they moved around with it. But for now, we're having the aggression down towards the bottom of the map, as we're already seeing the third protector being fought over. If Nothing Left is able to take this one, they might have a chance to even end the game with it. Despite the fact that I kind of doubt that they're going to be able to push it this far. Depends a bit on experience and if they're able to get level 20 with it. There's the approach against the turret though. As I said before, Mopsio is trying to channel it. It's going for it again. Doesn't get it though. And Mopsio himself is low and goes down as Vala connects the Manticore shots. A 5-man jet propulsion by Boss on the other side is allowing him to at least threaten his opponents a bit. Top lane is still getting pressured, by the way, by the camp that got taken earlier. And with the additional catapult that is moving in, this is actually going to threaten the wall quite significantly. But we're having the Vikings, the Swedes, starting down to the bottom of the map now in an attempt to get another protector for themselves and maybe turning the tides of the battle. Experience is bringing Nothing Left closer and closer to level 20 though. And that should actually hit in time. I mean, they have 5-man back up on the map, and Junkrat is already busy in the middle, trying to get some value here. Rest of the team has been taking another turret in the meantime. And now that we have 70% on the progress bar, there's a chance for them to move in now and make this happen. Level 20 is there, and it doesn't really seem like the Vikings are willing to fight this one. Well, at least they shouldn't be. They're losing Vala and ETC immediately as the fight starts. And Berghult is also not mobile enough to get out of this one, I would say. I mean, eventually he should fall there. Has some shields available, but Diablo and Tyrande, they get the kill. And now they're still seeing the top demolishing not only the wall, but also starting to aim for the keep itself. Li Ming is the one heading over to deal with the situation, but as you can tell, at the bottom of the map, things are starting to get worse for them. Not only is that protector still getting channeled, but we're also seeing a foreman pushing straight for the wall to ensure that they're going to get the keep and have a chance to go for core afterwards. Nicely done. So yeah, here comes the attack again, down to the bottom of the map. Mopsio is already sitting tight, is at 67%. At the top, Gia at least was able to push with Li Ming the entire wave out and make sure that the keep doesn't fall completely, but it's down to 50% HP. And guess what? The one at the bottom of the map is falling even before the protector is taken. So it's already down. So great setup here from Nothing Left in the first game of the best of 3 series. Down to the bottom of the map, Diablo has done his job too and was able to get the protector for his team, is moving in with it as we speak. 57,000 damage from Vala, 71k for Hanzo. And the teams are moving in again. Slide from ETC actually missing here. And at this point, it's Maka who is starting to be in a bit of trouble. Gets healed by Malfurion, but the jet propulsion is connecting. Really a bit low. Thing is that the protector has already lost 30% of his hit points, and they're so far doing fairly well with the defense. The core hasn't even been touched yet. And level 20 is still not ready for the red team. The Vikings need to be slightly careful here, but they're doing great with the defense overall speaking. And that protector is just not powerful enough anymore with all the patches that Blizzard put in to simply go for the core, right-click that bastard and take it down right away. In this case, it's barely scratching the shields. Protector's about to go down. The defense with the Li Ming and Vala is absolutely strong enough to make that happen. And therefore, this objective pretty much did nothing. And we've seen this over and over and over again, actually. I mean, that's honestly something that we've seen so many times right now when a third protector was taken and then very little value got gained because the protector is just not quite as powerful anymore. And if the opponent has strong damage dealers from the backline, they can do a lot with this. Now, the Vikings still trying to defend here at the top side, have to try and hold on to that keep. They obviously lost the fort in the mid lane now, and the keep at the top lane is also nearly falling. But now is actually when things become interesting, especially since Vala has Farflight Quiver on level 20, and together with Manticore on level 16, it means that Mopsio is going to be in a lot of pain whenever Vala can fire consecutive shots against him. Same is, by the way, true for Blaze. We should also be a little bit more careful with him. So here comes the kill against Hanzo. And that is kill number 3 now for the red team. Top lane catapults pushing in again against the keep soon. And down in the middle, we're having another push against the fort. So this one nearly done. And yeah, the comeback attempt from the red team. And it's a little bit of a back and forth game. I mean, seriously, it looked for a long time as if nothing left might have a chance to take this immediately. But now that we're seeing Vikinger Fabriken doing a little bit better, they're actually starting to take the game back. They took down Hanzo. They have pressure against them on the bottom of the map that someone needs to deal with, though. I'm not sure who's going to be that, but there's 2 catapults pushing in, and we're 20 minutes into the game. So we're slowly entering an area where you can talk about Vinions. And especially this catapult over here, who has another shot and nearly takes down the keep. It's not quite able to pull it off, but again, the next one surely will. Yeah, Vala is the one heading back to deal with the bot lane. There's an item that they were just able to claim now too, but the top lane has to be dealt with as well. And yeah, these bad boys start to really fire the shields down quickly. But as you can obviously tell, with Vala being there and all the wave clear that she can bring to the table, it's an easy defense for them regardless. Okay, so with that, we're having to push straight up towards the top, where Maka is actually positioned right now. They've also taken the camp here. And now the big question, if they can actually take keep number 2. That would be fantastic for Nothing Left if they can make that play, because that would mean that 2 lanes are pushing on the 4th objective against their opponent, so that would be the ideal scenario for them here. They're already poking around, trying to get a bit of vision, of course, as well. But Billy and his boys are starting to push this a bit harder. There's a lot of items in their wake too. In comes Billy with another slide against Diablo. Vala obviously looking for the auto connects here. One auto attack after another to chunk them down. But the front lines are moving away, and with a little bit of a zoning Riptire that finally gets exploded just to get the minion wave at least. So, with that said, bot lane is again pressuring. 1 catapult. Second one on the way, which means that they have to be careful with this now, and it's Liming that this time heads back and not Vala to deal with it. But the next control point is going to be unlocked soon. Keep at the top lane is still safe though. That's now the question, can they push another lane down? Can they maybe get like the minion, 1-2 minion waves more eliminated and then the catapult just do the rest here? They have to ensure though that Diablo doesn't fall as he's getting attacked. Liming is rotating topside to help out with the situation. He's actually a little bit torn between helping the team and trying to defend the bot lane, but the pings are there. And Liming is now being told, listen, get those catapults out of the way or we're gonna have trouble. And here comes the engage again as Mopsio comes in, dashes out, but straight into Vala. Has to use the bunker to survive. And Vala obviously trying to get the kills here. But in comes Liming. Misses the combo though, but they make the play for Mopsio. The stun and the jet propulsion as Blaze gets away. Malfurion already using his ult as well. That game is starting to become a little bit bananas here. 23 minutes in. And Vala's actually starting to close the gap in damage a little bit to Hanzo. I mean, again, Hanzo obviously through the poke damage is just insane. Yeah, 100,000 damage for him already. Junkrat with all of that long distance poke is sitting at 74,000 himself. But Vala at least with 84k now, and she's gonna get a lot more if she gets that Manticore completely locked onto Mopsio or Podyboss on Diablo and Blaze. That's going to be a huge deal there. But as it stands, the bottom lane is pushing. Top lane might eventually also be in trouble. Position has been taken by the blue team. And down here it's again about the item control. And they have a little bit more than that. But there's a double catapult now on its way, and Liming again the one who has to deal with that situation. Always have to farm those catapults out or you're gonna be in trouble. The blue team is not getting too lazy here yet either. They are moving actually straight onto the healing beacon top side and start to take that one down too, so that they are not too far behind in items. At this point we're talking mainly healing beacons for them, whereas we're obviously still having a chance of going to the turret soon for the Vikings. They already have one on Sport Billy's side, but they are also holding on to that spot again. This might be what it comes down to. And this, by the way, is probably going to be the end of the keep topside if nobody deals with it. So a good push by nothing left again, which will buy them not only a little bit of time if someone rotates top in the middle to regain the objective, but eventually is very likely also to get them another lane that pushes with continuous catapults if they can take down the keep itself. So at this point, teams are starting for both jumping in again. Keep topside, as I said, is nearly down. Blikitny here on his Junkrat is still making the plays from the long run, looking for the Riptire, trying to get that in. Mopsio is in trouble. Mopsio is in a lot of trouble. A Riptire comes through and Mopsio gets saved for a second by the bunker, but then upon emerging, Li Ming takes him down, goes for Pony Boss, and gets the ult with the repulsion through, and that's his double kill. But now that both keeps are down, the catapults are all of a sudden starting to do serious damage, and someone has to head back very, very quickly with this, and a few of them already do. So we're having two heroes defending right now, but that core is falling, and it's falling quickly. I mean, holy hell, 60% at this point. 25 minutes into the game, that's a big problem, and Blikitny comes in and gets even more damage onto it. 38%. In comes Mopsio. Down here we have a mosh pit against Nick. Nick jumps away but gets still taken down, and they're YOLOing onto that core hard. 19%. Mopsio with the damage. The keep in the middle has gone down. They're trying to go for the core, but it seems like Dibble's gonna be a little bit quicker. Yes, and indeed they are. Nothing left with the lead in the best of 3 series at the HeroesHype Premier Series, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2, everybody. To the left. Renamed for game number 2. Nothing changed with the lead in the series. We're Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we are in the semi-final of the HeroesHype Premier Series. And on the left, we have Boss on Rexa, Blikitny on Tassadar, Mopsy on Mal'Ganis, Nick on Vala, and Linked on Rhaegar. On the right side of the map, Vikinger Fabriken, aka the Vikings, with Smexy on Malfurion, Mak on Liming, Gia on Greymane, Sport Billion ETC, and Berghold on Malthael. Yeah, and actually we had a little bit of a discussion going on because, well, Nothing Left has changed the name so many times that I at some point just refused to play that game anymore. I mean, first they were called Nothing Left, and some other team leagues they still called themselves the Leftovers. Then for the last HeroesHype Premier Series they were Nautilus Support. This time they call themselves Grzegorz something. And yeah, at some point I'm just going to refuse to play that game, since the lineup is always the exact same with maybe one player being switched out, and that's about it. So someone actually suggested we should just call them Nothing Changed, and I think that's a pretty fantastic name for them. So yeah, Nothing Changed on the left side, because nothing changed. I mean, they kind of swapped one player out. DAB is not here, and instead we're having Nick play, but it's a pretty fitting one. So Vikings on the right side, despite the fact that they won the fourth protector on the first map, were not quite able to win the game. The Winions, the catapults, were a little bit too strong there. And obviously the heroes then sealed the fate of the core. Now we have the lead for Nothing Changed, and the question remains if they can pull this off with a 2-0 victory, or if we're having the red team fighting back here. And damn! We didn't have a lot of brawling in game number 1, but here at the start of the game, there's a long extended brawl happening right away. Malthael down at the bottom of the map went, by the way, into On a Pale Horse. And we have Vala on the other side again. Vala is still a hero that absolutely amazes me when I look at it from a meta perspective, because for some reason you still see North America not really valuing Vala at all. And in Europe at least, ever since that patch that buffed her hit point pool and also changed a few other things, level 16 for her, for example, with the Seething Hatred, Things has definitely changed for her a lot, because she has re-emerged in the meta and is now even played without a double support. But on the side of nothing changed, we actually see them with a double support setup and with Cassida in the mix, played by Blue Kidney here, in order to get the full value out of her. So we'll actually see how this is going to work for them. Down to the bottom of the map, Berkult is playing it against Podibos, and with the last rights later on, he can definitely start farming that, even against Misha. And honestly, this is always a bit of a weird one, but if you start farming that against the bear early on, it can be pretty impactful for the late game. Now, the normal build for Vala has been chosen again with the multi-shot hybrid coming in here. And in addition to that, we're seeing Kala's Embrace, already an auto-attack focus. These days, not a talent that you see all that often anymore. It's mainly played with Tracer in the late, I would say in the last 3-4 weeks. But especially with Vala, we've now seen a lot of armor picks as well, and that helps you to keep the front line alive too. But obviously, in this case, nothing helps her. Vala down, ETC with the final hit as we have that massive push through the middle of the map. And with the first kill in the game, the Vikings are starting to get a bit more damage done and start to take down one tower after another. So really good early aggression here from the red team. We have Maka also now limbing again with his Charge Blast on level 4. I talked about this actually the last time that we had Mene on the hero. I think it was just yesterday a little bit. Because Mene still very heavily prefers dominance, no matter which map, even Battlefield of Eternity, whereas some players have really started to shift over completely into Charge Blast. We see it from Tai every now and then on the hero, even though he's not super consistent with it. It depends a bit on the map choice for him. But Maka is just playing Charge Blast pretty much whenever. Maybe not quite as aggressive as Mene oftentimes is with his positioning, and therefore not necessarily is that dependent on it. But generally speaking, Maka definitely has a preference here on the talent. Now, outside of that, we also have Stormcaller here. It's a little bit of mana management attempts that we're seeing from the little doggy. Mal'Ganis is also in trouble. Mal'Ganis is just played these days more and more and more. And in this case, he sustains himself through long enough to get the kill against Malfurion, but dies a painful death shortly after. Billy again with the setup against Linged, and the dog goes down. Gems are being recovered though. Misha is eliminated too. Maka a bit low at the end of this fight, but with 3 kills against 1, still looking pretty happy. Looking pretty good with this. Oh my god, Maka and Billy are both so low, and ETC actually dies. Now they recover the gems, but we have a full fiesta on our hands at this point. 38 gems turned in by the blue team, 24 by the team in red thus far. And we're having nothing changed with the final delivery here. So they're moving in immediately and starting to take this one too. So at this point, level 7 talents give us also Cleanse for Reka, which is going to make things obviously a little bit easier for him whenever ETC wants to go for Power Slide, or Malfurion wants to make a play there as well. We're having in the middle of the map a quick attack again against the backline. Nick in particular on this Vala needs to be careful since he's a primary target. He is juicy, juicy, juicy with a master skin that he's currently rocking here. Maka is a little bit low. Maka is in a lot of trouble, but is able to get out of harm's way, at least for now. The attacks keep coming though as the Web Weavers are pushing in, but at least the mid lane is pretty much defended, and therefore the Vikings can start to rotate top and bot side. Bot side is actually where Berkult is already dealing with Web Weaver number 2, but up at the top of the map, the third and last one is starting to break through the wall, taking down the 2 towers and giving more experience over 2-0 changed. So, well, with that, we're having the Web Weaver nearly eliminated. And level 10 abilities should soon come in. Both of them, by the way, just hitting level 9, so it's pretty much even experience for the 2 of them. But we still have enough gems also for the Vikings to get a Web Weaver of their own now, if they can commit to it. Greymane is starting to jump in again, but so is Mal'Ganis. Mopsio is a bit low. Greymane wants the kill, goes in, and might have overstepped a little bit. Gets the auto attacks through. Billy is trying to deliver the blow, but Mal'Ganis again with the self-sustain stays alive, and now Vala drops Li Ming. That's at least some gems that are going to be lost there, but they still have more than enough to turn in. A lot of them got recovered. Podibos is already sitting at the side, and level 10 is nearly ready for 0 change. So with this, at the bottom of the map, we're having Berkult with 32 gems sitting tight here. Needs to be a little bit careful here. And I don't know if Berkut was downgraded or what exactly happened there, but I mean, he switched from the golden cock into the silver cock, so I'm not quite sure why he's not worthy of the golden mount anymore. But whatever he's done, I think we should promote him again, because at least in the last game he played pretty well, I would assume. But we'll see, we'll see. So the Cursed Bullet is in for Greymane. Now again, the recent patches obviously changed the hero a little bit, so the Cursed Bullet is more effective than it previously was buffed up to 40% of the current health. And in addition to that, the auto attacks of Greymane are also quite a lot stronger than they were previously. So Heroes sees a lot of play these days again. Malthael has now the chance to start stacking his ult too. And as I said, could theoretically start to get a couple of those stacks together. And Sneasha as well. So once again, the turn-in attempt here. 81 gems in their hands. Starting to make the play here. Berkut gets interrupted as having Blakitni with an easy move. They have so much vision here, and they have the range damage, of course, to boot. A quick note also, we don't have the Rain of Vengeance over Strafe, which we've seen in the last game as the heroic ability of Vala, especially with Greymane who can jump in. You want to have that. Berkut, Mosh Pit, interrupted. And that's coming in from behind, from the side. Mopsio, the last rights, doesn't get a hit in. Instead, it's Malthael that falls in the return. Unfortunate situation now for the Vikings. They have just at this point taken down or gotten the Web Weavers, but they have one hero missing. And at the bottom of the map, the Siege Giants are already starting to shred the thingy. The fort, and therefore there needs to be a rotation, or the Siege Giants would have taken out that Web Weaver pretty much instantly. But with that said, that's an easy defense right now for Nothing Changed. I mean, they are pretty easily taking most of the hit points down of the one at the top and in the middle. The bot lane has pretty much already been defended against, since Rexa is currently alone with Misha. They're dealing with this situation. Procrit is nearly done for ETC, but that was definitely not quite as successful as we were hoping for. This, on the other hand, might... Mopsio goes out with the ult. The Carrion Swarm here. Could have been the end, of course, but yeah, he survives through that easily. So with the Web Weavers nearly taken down, there is still enough gems ready for the team in red, for the Vikings, to get another Web Weaver wave. But this one, as we say in export circles, has done jack shit. So they didn't get anything out of that. They pushed the lanes out a little bit, but when we were talking structural damage, there was nothing really that they could get with it. That's a good kill, and that's the first stack, and if they can actually also protect the gems here, that would be fantastic. But they can't quite get a little bit of damage onto Linked. Actually, they did. They did protect the gems, so the gems were lost. Rhaegar wasn't able to recover all of that, which is really, really good for the Vikings now. So they're about to get their second turn in, and with the first stack on Malthael's last rights, it's pretty good too. It's actually really nice for them here as well. Here comes the attack against Tassadar. Can they drop him? Tassadar is one of those weird heroes. I actually really like Tassadar, and I feel he complements a lot of the compositions in the game very nicely. But the problem is that his hit point pool is so low that if you have a bad Tassadar player or someone that's just oftentimes caught out of position, then a coordinated effort against him can insta-drop him. So you need to be really careful as a Tassadar player and keep a lot of your abilities ready to save your own ass there. Marke still trying to push here. Level 13 is ready for their opponent, so they're currently down a talent. Here comes the counter attack immediately. And again, Mopsio the place. So look at that slowdown everywhere. The Web Weaver in the mid lane has already been taken out. The one at the top is now pushing through. The one at the bottom mainly ignored, and they just give up the fort since they know they won't be able to save it anyways, and they might need Rexa in the fight at the top instead. So he's starting to come in over here. 13 talents are ready for both, which gives us the inevitable end. And after the fort at the bottom of the map has fallen, the defense top side is successful. So Nothing Changed is doing pretty well with this. They're also about to complete the quest talent for Tassadar. Blakitni is doing a fantastic job with the AoE here, which means that they have it. Ooh, Mosh Pit, baby! And that's a double kill. Vala and Mal'Ganis are both down. They're guarding the gems again, so that's even a bigger loss now for the team in blue. And that is a really big problem now. Because not only do we have now a 10-second cooldown reduction on Malthael, but we have 2 heroes down, which pretty much means there's a freebie at the boss. And the Vikings are off to a very, very solid start in the second game. I mean, damn son, 6 kills against 4 might not quite tell the tale, but if you just looked at that last fight, that was phenomenal. Not only did they take out the first fort in the game, but they also have now, with the boss claimed topside, a good chance of taking this next fort and making it towards the wall. I don't think we're talking keep here, it's too early for that, but they should be able to at least damage their wall a little bit and get something done here. So with this said, we're having this one taken out immediately. At least those siege giants are doing a little bit of work. Backhold with a really safe rotation down to the bottom of the map, by the way, in case you haven't seen it. He went like the long route here, and he waited with the defense also long enough so that he could spot a few heroes of the opponent on the map, just so that he knows he isn't getting ganked here, because with 18 gems in his hands, he wants to be a bit cautious with this. 35,000 damage for Li Ming, Vala herself on 41. Quite strong here. Level 16 talents is what both the teams are now aiming for. And we're actually looking at another potential turn-in. That would be the third one for the Vikings. Whereas nothing changed, he's close to having enough gems for another turn-in, but they're not quite there yet. They're already down one. Another camp has been taken in the meantime too, making this of course an even better push, especially since the spell aura, spell damage, has also been taken out already. So an easy defense for them. And let's see, level 16 is close, and they're pushing hard now. And they have the gems, as I said before. They have a lot of them right now. Especially if they can get Make into position. And as they're pushing the opponent back, Make should be able to get this. 16 is there. There's the turn-in attempt. It's not quite enough to get it. But with Mexi already going into position, this is going to seal the deal for them. And the level 16 talents give us now also, first of all, the Mirror Ball and Executioner. More damage! Nearly a kill against Misha here. We'll be down for 20 seconds. Didn't quite turn out that way. But now we're looking at the Red Web Weavers descending once more. And obviously you're aiming not really in the mid lane. They're going to make a rotation to one of the side lanes, I would assume, and just leave the mid lane be, because that fort is going to fall either way. Unless there is a commitment from Nothing Changed towards that lane, which is unlikely since you are more prone to defend your own keeps, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So the fort in the middle is definitely going to fall. And the fort at the bot lane is gone. That means that the keep is going to be directly attacked by the Web Weavers, so there's a huge chance that Nothing Left is really going to lose ground here now. Again, Frost Shot taken, Psionic Echo as well. Mopsio starting to move in here, trying to make a bit of a play. And they're trying to defend it. This one is actually looking still okay. The problem is really starting to be the bot lane, because this is a massive wave that we're seeing here. Fort in the middle has just now been eliminated. Up towards the top side, still the poke around. Tacita at least walking down to the bottom of the map to deal with the situation there. But as I said before, it's a lot that he has to take down, but the Psionic Echo is definitely going to help him, especially since he has his level 1 completed. So that extra damage is going to help him a lot here. It's actually helping him to an extent where he can pretty much avert any damage on the keep to be taken. Only a few auto attack hits are in, and that's about it. More pressure in the middle of the map though, as they're looking for another kill, but they can't find it. And here's the play again, as Nothing Changed. They're starting to chase them down a little bit, but Mopsio on half HP decides that it's actually time to fall back for now and not really overstay their welcome here. In terms of damage, Vala still top numbers for her, 57,000. It's not really a lot up on the map that you can go for now. Especially when we're talking gems, then the Vikings don't have a lot that they can rely upon here, but Nothing Changed at least is under control of enough gems to get a turn-in for themselves. And they are already 2 turn-ins behind, so yeah, they definitely want to get this one. And they're trying. They lost a lot of gems throughout this entire game. It's kind of their time right now. Damage. Nick again on the run. Mosh Pit is in. It's immediately interrupted. And Chia needs to get out. The Wolf in trouble, and he's not the only one. Another Rain of Vengeance charge hits ETC, and that locks him down long enough that Vala can get their kill. 5 kills against 6. Bot lane still getting attacked by that Siege Giant camp that was just previously taken now. That's going to put some pressure onto the keep. But they're obviously hoping for a full turn-in at this point. A little bit of damage coming in. The catapult is there as well. Tacita is busying himself with the shields. And Pody Boss is now helping out too. But they still want to get a little bit more. I mean, they turned in few of the gems, but they need to do more if they really want the Web Weavers now. And they're still behind in experience. So, as well as Nothing Changed has played in the last, I'd say, 2 minutes, as much ground as they've been able to gain here, if they want to capitalize on the death of ETC, then they need to push this out a bit further. But it seems they're not making that play for the turn-in, and instead just try to stabilize their bases, make sure that they get the mercenary camp here now too, and then attempt at a turn-in. Where Mopsio is trying to set it up, but Make has already spotted it and is shutting that attempt down immediately. So we're talking about a 5 versus 5 again, as everybody is starting to move in for this one. Right now, what else do we have? 5 kills against 6 so far, yeah. Camp comes through. Spell damage reduction aura is also in. And they're letting the web weavers come in. That's the moment when nothing changed. Can change a lot. I mean, they can prove that something's gonna change here. Especially since there's still 3 forts for the opponent's team. So up to now, the Vikings haven't lost a single major structure in this game. And yeah, he's down at the bottom of the map. Rexa's already pushing the wave out. This is going to be eliminated 100%. And at the top, it doesn't look too much better for the fort here too. It all comes down to the team fight, to be honest with you. Right now, it's a question of whether or not they can get a kill too. And they're trying to get it immediately against Malthael. Not even with the inevitable end does he have a chance here. At the unstoppable, but Malthael gets claimed just as the fight starts, and that is obviously a horrible scenario for the Vikings now. They're losing so much ground just as the web weavers come in. The fort at the bot lane is already down. The one in the middle is likely to fall, and at the top it's biting the dust as we speak. Pressure from every single lane now against the Vikings here, and nothing changed is in a great spot to just apply more and more and maybe even break through to a keep itself. And let's not forget, them playing like this also gives them now a big league experience. Well, it's not a big one, but it's significant in the sense that it helps them to hit level 20 as the first team. And if it happens with that push while Malthael is still down, they have a chance to really capitalize on that situation, and that's something they're very well aware of. And there's the 20 now, so you have a chance to make a big play, try and get that siege up. Twilight Archon is in, 4 seconds until Malthael, but there is a chance to make the approach at the keep itself. But they don't want to stay too long here, even with level 20 talents, especially since we're having the Vikings also gaining their Storm talents. ETC needs to be careful, even with the Bolt of the Storm, and he has no chance. Gets locked down way too hard, way too much CC, and that's the top keep likely falling. Again, the pressure, ult attempt with the last rites by Malthael, but shut down as Rhaegar uses the Ancestral. But they still defend the keep. The keep is still there. So they still have it, but with ETC down, boss gets attacked now too. And that is where things are really starting to become problematic. Because not only do they go for boss, but in addition to that, they also have the chance. Uh-oh, Rexa is trying to feign his death again, and we already said in the past this usually doesn't work out for him. In this case, no exception. So boss at the top is still getting attacked, but they are not going to be able to steal that away. But with Rexa trying to turn in, that's an issue. They lost a lot of gems with this one. The idea was obviously to get the boss plus the turn in, and he didn't realize that there was an entire squad waiting for him. So that boss is only going to get the top keep, and that's it. But if they would have gotten both, they could have ended the game here very likely. But yeah, he walks right into that trap, and now they're at least attempting to get rid of the rest of the gems that they're holding. But that is already about to be that. Can they actually save that keep? Seems likely. Yeah. They can actually save it. With Malthael and with Greymane, they're able to save the keep. Remove the boss as an obstacle from the map at least. And that doesn't really sound like much, but if you lose a hero, it is worth a lot if you're able to make that play. Because just imagine what the Vikings could do now if they would have gotten the boss at this point. They could have maybe even gone for core here. But again, with the kill count now equalized and effectively tied, question still remains who's going to be able to make the next move, either through a turn-in, where both teams are very, very close of getting enough gems to make that happen, or anything else. I mean, with this, we're currently having the attack down at the bottom again against Sport Billy. We're also seeing camps taken, and in this case it's 2 heroes that focused on that. Billy softened up here. And it's turn-in time. Both of the teams have now enough gems. Both of them could get another Web Weaver wave, and both of them are dancing around the turn-in points to try and make that happen. Yeah, there we go. Billy is a bit low. Yep, and Malthael is too, and he is dead again. Yeah, but the boars unleashed, the slow and everything. They just can't get away from this. Billy is now falling, and that's a double kill against them, and that one hurts. Not only can you get the turn-in now, but you also can make the move for the core, since the top fort or the top keep are so low. And yeah, that should be... I mean, 1 keep at least. Honestly, it should pretty much be core. Unless, of course, there's some way that the Vikings can get a quick kill with Greymane. And to be fair, Malthael actually had no one can stop death, so he is already back as well. So they might be able to hold this after all. I mean, the Web Weavers are coming down soon, and I don't see a way that this keep survives. But in the middle of the map, let's see what they can pull off with this. Twilight Archon, of course, already in action again. And we still have that long distance attacks now from Nick. Again, the lockdown against Maka, and he falls. And he's not the only one. Smexy is dead too, and it's just a full-on rage fest. As we're having nothing change, chasing one hero after another. 3 currently down. Keep in the middle is about to fall. The one at the top is definitely going to drop too. And now the only question is, can they get the core? And they should. I mean, at this point, they just look absolutely dominant. They have 11 kills against 7. They're snowballing this hard. They have so much momentum right now. There's the mosh pit against the blue team, though. And that might be a kill, and it is. Rek'Sai is down, but ETC falls too. Greymane dead, and so is Malthael. And that is game, as nothing changed. Claims a 2-0 victory against the Vikinger Fabriken and moves on to the grand final of the HeroesHype Premier Series tournament. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed the match and the commentary. The remaining time of the video has been added to protect against spoilers caused by the length of the video itself. But please keep in mind, though, that this does not only mean more work for me, but also has a negative impact on the popularity of the videos and the channel because of YouTube's algorithms. It would be greatly appreciated if you'd consider supporting the channel and help me to continue the daily esports coverage by clicking the join button below the video or supporting me through the Patreon page linked in the video description. Thanks a lot for the support, and see you guys next time.